Greetings everybody, I'm Steve Mesple from Wildwood Guitars, and I am joined here at the Wildwood studio today by our friend Don Grosh. Don,
hi.
Thank you so much for joining us for the day.
Thanks.
It's been a very special day for all of us.
Thanks for having me, appreciate it.
Really a special day. We got to hear all about Don and his vision on guitars. So we're hoping you could tell us and all of our friends out there on the internet a little bit about yourself, how you ended up being the Don Grosh that you are nowadays. Okay. How did you get into making guitars, or what took you down this road? I
started playing guitar when I was about 18. Started playing acoustic guitar. From there I started working on my guitars. I've always worked with my hands, been into building things, and so I started just working on friends' guitars, working on my own guitars. Then I started building guitars, and at that time out of high school I was worked for a contractor. We did custom homes, did finished carpentry work, cabinet work, that type of thing. Growing up too, my dad actually had a studios where they built sets, they did backdrops, they did all types of curtain tracks, revolving stages. So I worked in the machine shop from the time I was 13 years old. During my summers, I'd work in the machine shop, so I knew how to TIG weld, I knew how to run all kinds of equipment and machines. Right. So in fact, when I was 13, my birthday, I wanted an arc welder for my birthday, and that's what I got when I was 13. Because at that time I was making BMX bike frames, me and my friends, and so building was just kind of a passion of mine. I was always interested in it. So when I started playing, it was just a natural progression was to start building.
So were you one of the guys who took a guitar and immediately took it apart and tried to figure out how it worked?
Yeah, just modify it, tweak it, put some different pickups in it. Yeah. That was really just a short time. I really got into building pretty quick. So I started making my own bodies, started making my own necks. I built a thin line acoustic, which actually I play every single day now.
You still have it?
And it's just a thin body. It has actually EMG pickup in the neck and it has a piezo in the bridge. It has a cutaway, so it's kind of like, it was a great answer to someone that wants to practice electric, but they want to do it on electric. So I built that guitar, and I actually still play that guitar. Yeah, so just just was really drawn to the whole idea of guitars, how they were made, what was involved with them, and just had a lot of fun.
So were you thinking at that time, did you have a sense that you wanted to make guitars, or that you would end up doing this as a career?
Well, it wasn't until I think I was about 24 I really started thinking about it, and at that point I didn't see a lot of opportunities out there for like a guitar company I could work for. And actually I had a really great job of what I did. I was a journeyman carpenter. My original goal was possibly be an architect and move into building homes, doing that type of thing. So that's kind of the direction I was going, but had a passion for playing guitar and for the building. Then I saw an article in Guitar Player magazine with Steve Lukather, and that was probably 84. It's talking about Valley Arts Guitars. They're in Studio City, California. And I thought, wow, Studio City, that's pretty close to where I'm at. I should go and check that out. So I actually went there. I brought 3 guitars that I built, met with Mike McGuire, and showed him my guitars. And at that time, he's, well, I'm not sure. I don't know if we need anybody. But a month later, I got a call. And he called me for another interview. And
that's great.
So I ended up going there and working there, and I did that for 8 years. First 4 years I worked in the repair department. They weren't really doing any building in a factory. It was more customizing, repair work, and then they started getting into some building.
Right. And was that the era Lukather was playing Valley Arts and Larry Carlton? Right. So were you around during that time?
Yeah, all those guys. All the major studio guys that went to Valley Arts on Ventura Boulevard. I was there. So that was really great exposure to meet those guys and to work on their guitars, and just to see the caliber of player that was coming in there and the demand that they wanted as far as the quality of the guitar and the playability. So that definitely set the bar for where I should be if I'm going to be a builder. Yeah. So really great experience. So after 4 years working in the repair department, I was actually over the repair department overseeing that. And then we moved into an industrial complex and we actually started building guitars.
Building Don Grosh guitars or Valley Arts?
Valley Arts guitars.
Okay.
Yeah, Valley Arts. That's when they started more of a production
thing
with the guitars. And so I was overseeing the production at Valley Arts, and then about a year, they were going to be bought out by another company, and actually a year before that I decided to branch out on my own anyway, and I started putting together. I already had a little shop. Actually, my parents' house, my dad always had a little shop in the garage, and we had tools in there because, you know, my dad built stuff and I was in the building, so we already had some stuff there. So I just asked my parents if it would be okay if I just set up some more equipment and just started my company here. And they said, oh yeah, no problem, you know.
Well, you know, it's interesting to talk with others who've ended up doing something in this industry, and everybody's story and journey is so unique, and sometimes there are these life-altering moments that we can remember. You know, for me, I got to see Dwayne Allman play once at Winterland Auditorium and had that life-altering moment. For you, it's reading an article about Valley Arts and getting into that. So that's interesting. Our store, we started in 1984 with every penny that we had in the world. It was $500, and the store was about as big as the area that we're occupying right now. And here you are starting your Don Grosh Guitars in your parents' workshop. So what year was that when you started doing that?
That was in '93 when I started. So I got some equipment together. I started making prototypes. In fact, I was still at Valley Arts working, and that January NAMM show of '93, I had 3 guitars at different booths at the NAMM show, and I was hoping my bosses at Valley Arts wouldn't see my guitars there. And so right after the NAMM show, I'd say, you know, I think it was March is when I just left Valley Arts and branched out on my own.
So one-man shop at that time, just you?
Yeah, one-man shop. I already had some connections with some dealers. So I took some guitars to some different dealers. It was great because immediately I picked up, I think it was 2 dealers, which gave me my first initial orders to get the thing going. Yeah. And my wife actually had a really great job. We just got married, actually, at that time, and my wife had a really great job. She was like a surgery assistant in an oral surgery office. But as soon as I started my company, she got laid off because her boss had some issues that he had to deal with, and he had to close down his practice. And so there we were, really no income starting this business.
Sounds like my guitar store.
Right. Yeah. But we, you know, we scraped it together. I had my initial orders, and you know, we were able to pull it off, and it gradually grew from there. I picked up some more dealers, sent out some guitars to some different stores that I knew, and yeah, so just picked up a handful of dealers, and that was enough to keep me going.
So what were you making at that time? Had you already figured out what the Grosh guitars were and what the line was?
Yeah, the guitars at the NAMM show that I had, there were 3 prototypes, and they're all based off our T design here, which I want to do something different than just copying another design. So I came up with my own design that I thought what I wanted as a player, not necessarily thinking, well, what does everybody want? It's more me as a player. Hey, I want to design this for me. A lot of what I design is kind of based off what do I want. Right. You know, and some of the stuff is obviously I have to listen to other people and all that, but you know, as far as the passion of where the building and the playing comes from, I kind of reach inside and decide what I want. So this design I had at the NAMM show, and I had 3 different versions. I actually had a nylon string electric acoustic. I had a 2 humbucker version of this, and I had more of a traditional telly version. So that was the first one, and then I designed the retro classic. About 6 months later, I designed that. So those were the 2 first initial guitars.
So let's we'll wrap up this section of the interview right now and come back, and we'll learn more about Don Grosh.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.